These are the fights to make after UFC 324, Pimblett versus Gaethje. I'm going to talk about the big fights that should be happening next due to the result of the fights happening on this card. Before we start, please go down, like, subscribe, and enjoy. Now let's get into it. So, Umar Nurmagomedov just had a big win over Deiveson Figueiredo, beat him by a unanimous decision, and he should be fighting the winner of Merab Dvalishvili or Peter Yan in their rematch. I know a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, Umar Nurmagomedov, if he won this fight, should definitely be next for Peter Yan, but that's not the case. I do think Merab Dvalishvili deserves that trilogy fight against Peter Yan, especially being like one of the most active champions in recent history, fighting like bantamweight is a tough division. Bantamweight is probably one of the most toughest divisions in UFC history, especially now. And Merab had a 14 fight win streak, had 4 title defense attempts at least. He didn't get the 4th one successfully because Peter Yan beat him in a span of a year. And he already has a win over Peter Yan, and that last fight was an incredible fight. Got fight of the night. Could be possibly it was one of the best fights of 2025. I forgot. I don't remember what won fight of the year. I don't remember what won that, but it was on there. It was a candidate, and it was a very good fight. And plus, people are like, why not give Merab the rematch? We gave Sean O'Malley a rematch, an instant rematch against Merab after he just had a title defense against Marlon Vera. That's kind of crazy to me. Well, Merab beat Sean O'Malley, comes back after a few months later, beats Umar, takes his undefeated record. And Umar was a big star coming up in the division. He still is a big star. Beat Sean O'Malley again by that after submission, beat Corey Sandhagen after in dominant fashion, and then had an incredible scrap with Peter Yan, lost the fight, but already has a win over him. Merab has earned this rematch, and maybe it could happen soon, Peter Yan and Merab trilogy. But yeah, if Umar wants to fight someone else in the meantime, he can, but I wouldn't mind if he sits out for a bit and waits for this fight to happen. But Umar, in my opinion, is definitely next for the bantamweight title. I think he's solidified himself. Fought a contender coming up in Mario Bautista, and now um he just beat Deiveson Figueiredo, two-time UFC flyweight champ, and that's a big win. And yeah, Umar should be next in line for the UFC bantamweight title shot, depending on what happens between Merab and Peter Yan in their trilogy, because that's the fight that should be happening next. No one else. But yeah, Umar is next after this fight takes place. But yeah, next one. Deiveson Figueiredo, I think he should fight Song Yadong next. Song Yadong just lost to Sean O'Malley last night, and Deiveson Figueiredo just lost to Umar Nurmagomedov, like I explained in the last when I showed Umar who should he fight next. But yeah, Deiveson, I don't think he should fight any. I would say maybe fight an Amin Zahabi, but Amin Zahabi, he just came off of winning against Marlon Vera by a split decision. I don't think Amin Zahabi should be like have a Figueiredo fight just yet. And yeah, Song Yadong, I arguably think that he should. Here's my opinion. I thought he won the Sean O'Malley fight, and I was kind of shocked. I thought he won round one. I thought he won rounds 1 and 3, and yeah, but it was a very close fight. I don't think O'Malley. It's a brutal robbery, but I think it was a bit of a robbery. I thought Song Yadong won the fight, but yeah, I don't think they should. I think they should still. I think wait, how, is Song Yadong's number 5 and Deiveson Figueiredo's number 6? Yeah, this fight can work. This fight can work. Deiveson lost to Umar Nurmagomedov, no shame in that, and due to his past in the UFC being one of the greatest flyweights of all time and all the fights he's had and being a legend, he shouldn't, I don't think, fight that low. Let's do Song Yadong versus Deiveson Figueiredo. This fight can work. Only just one rank above, like one rank difference. This would be a very fun fight in my opinion. Let's make this a fight in a main event. This would be a very good one. Or put it on the main card or a featured prelim of a pay-per-view. Well, pay-per-view for me. It's not I don't have the Paramount deal, but yeah. But yeah, Song Yadong versus Deiveson Figueiredo, and yeah, that's a good fight to make. I think it's be a good scrap. Youssef Salal versus Gene Silva. Now, Gene Silva just beat Arnold Allen last night, and and this is the thing. I would put Gene Silva originally against Yair Rodriguez. That's what I was thinking. Like, yeah, I'll put Gene Silva. If Gene Silva wins, he should fight Yair Rodriguez. But the thing is, though, I think Aljamain Sterling deserves that chance to fight higher up because I think I'm not Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez is fighting for the belt next weekend, but Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy are probably gonna have a fight next, and Aljo's gonna be left out. Like the only people that are like kind of left out there are Yair Rodriguez and Aljamain Sterling, and I don't think Sterling should be fighting all like down the rankings. He should be fighting up. So I think they're gonna do Aljamain Sterling versus Yair Rodriguez, and I think Gene Silva even because he got a big push fighting Diego Lopez, lost that, and he had just had a good fight against Arnold Allen, good win. But I still think he should, still get a few more contender wins and I actually at least one more contender win than fight higher in the rankings. But yeah, let's give him Yusuf Zalal, not too far down from where Gene Silva is going to be after beating Arnold Allen. I think Gene Silva is going to be number 6 on Tuesday, and then Yusuf Zalal is number 7, or he'll probably be number 8 due to Arnold Allen losings. But still, this fight should happen next. Yusuf Zalal coming off some great wins, just beat Josh Emmett by a 1-minute submission, beating Calvin Kattar as well. And yeah, let's just make sure Gene Silva fights like a few more contenders. No, I don't want to rush him up once again that much. And yeah, let's make him fight Yusuf Zalal. I would say, like I said, Yair Rodriguez, but Yair Rodriguez, I think, should fight Aljamain Sterling. And this fight is still good. Yusuf Zalal and Gene Silva. Yeah. Arnold Allen versus Steve Garcia should be the next fight. And here's the thing. The reason why I was gonna do originally Gene Silva maybe and Steve Garcia, but the thing is though, I think Yusuf Zalal deserves that chance more because Yusuf Zalal has a 1-minute submission win over Josh Emmett, and he has a Calvin Kattar win before that. I know him and Steve Garcia have had kind of similar UFC careers when it comes to like wins, but like kind of recently, but Steve Garcia's last win was over David Onama, who I don't really rate too highly. Even though Steve Garcia had an incredible performance, it was a very incredible performance against David Onama. He did not have any trouble with him at all. He was literally just piecing him up and destroying him in the boxing. In their fight night main event they had with each other back in November, it was an incredible performance by Steve Garcia. Round 1 KO, absolute domination. But compared to Yusuf Zalal beating Josh Emmett, who I know is obviously on the decline. He's been losing, but still, Josh Emmett has that history in the UFC where it's like, oh, if you get a win over him, that could lead you kind of to like some bigger spots. And the way Yusuf Zalal did it, it's like, wow, like you need to push him up a bit higher. So that's why I say give him Gene Silva, a guy who just won, who's higher up in the rankings. And Arnold Allen's still a really good opponent to have, even though he just lost against Silva. Some people say arguably Arnold Allen beat Gene Silva, but I think this would also be a very fun fight. Arnold Allen versus Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia still gets a big fight against Arnold Allen, which is still like you can make this a fight night main event itself. Honestly, it would be great. This fight, it would be a scrap in my opinion, and it would be a really good fight. And I think a really good matchup, and it makes sense. Just at least start Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia isn't getting like pushed like getting like a Gene Silva, but at least he's still getting an Arnold Allen. He's still getting a bit of a jump up. What rank is Steve Garcia now? I think he's number 8. So yeah, he might be pushed down to number 9. Another one rank difference fight. It'll be another one rank difference fight. And yeah, it won't be a bad one either. Steve Garcia and Arnold Allen, that is a fire matchup to make in the featherweight division. Let's make it happen. Now, let's do Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Curtis Blades. I think this should be the next fight at heavyweight. I was gonna say let's do Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Alexander Volkov, but Alexander Volkov should not be fighting. I think Alexander Volkov should be fighting for an interim belt, honestly. He should be fighting like he should be getting some sort of like title contention fight like that, like an interim belt, like maybe fighting a Pereira coming up. They most likely won't give it to Volkov, because Volkov isn't the biggest star, but still he's earned the shot. And yeah, I don't really want Volkov fighting anyone else down like that. And yeah, Waldo Cortez Acosta, though, still, I think he deserves, I think he should fight someone up in the top 5, though. He just had 3 incredible wins by KO. Beat Ante Delia by KO round 1. Just took the short notice fight against Shamil Gaziev, KO'd him in a minute. And he just KO'd Derek Lewis in round 2. And Josh Hockett did call out Waldo Cortez Acosta, but I don't think Waldo Cortez Acosta should be fighting down the rankings after those 3 wins he just had. I think he should be fighting Curtis Blades next, not Sergey Pavlovich, because he just, like, his last loss was to Sergey Pavlovich not too long ago, only in August, and Waldo's fought 3 times after that, which is crazy. But they're not going to do that because that was just Sergey Pavlovich's last fight, and he won pretty clearly. They're gonna do him versus Curtis Blades probably, but they're not gonna do Josh Hockett versus Waldo Cortez Acosta because like, I don't think that should be happening at all. But yeah, because I think Waldo deserves to, like, a jump up, like, fight up the rankings and not just, like, just keep fighting down. That's basically what he's been doing. But still, beat Shamil Gaziev, beat Derek Lewis, beat Antidalia. Those are some solid, good heavyweight wins, and I want to see him tested against Curtis. But because here's the thing with Waldo Cortez Acosta, like, I don't want to just keep seeing him beat, like, the heavyweights that are, like, lower ranked, because we've seen him against Sergey Pavlovich, the higher rank. He's Waldo Cortez Acosta in the higher rankings. Waldo Cortez Acosta gets tested, and I want to see him get another shot at that against Curtis Blades, a guy who's also in the top 5. So I want to see how he does. But yeah, so I said no to Waldo Cortez Acosta fighting to Josh Hockett. If he did lose this fight, I would say Josh Hockett versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Waldo lost to Derek Lewis, but no. Since Derek Lewis lost this fight, I want to see him versus Josh Hockett. I think this is an easy way to get Josh Hockett in the rankings, honestly. The style of, like, because honestly, what I remember that Sergey Spivak fight with Derek Lewis, how Sergey Spivak just threw around Derek Lewis the entire round and then submitted him. I could picture Josh Hockett doing the same thing to Derek Lewis, or just wearing him down in punches, unless he doesn't get KO'd, which can definitely happen, just gets clipped with a big right hand by Derek Lewis and gets horribly KO'd. And I said this in a video I made actually earlier today, talking about how Josh Hawk can be the biggest, like, one of the biggest heavyweight stars, and he can be. And I think this is the easiest way to get him in the rankings. I know people are probably gonna be like, okay, all right, he's only had one fight in the UFC. We don't need to push him, like, immediately up. But the thing is, though, it's heavyweight. We need more attraction to the division. I said this in the video talking about Hockett already. We can't just have a Tom Aspinall who's not even fighting right now due to the eye poke. Aspinall's really the biggest, like, attraction he has because John Jones ducked him. Ciryl Gane only really has Ciryl Gane has a big French fan base, has no personality other than that. We need a big star in the heavyweight division again. And I think this is a good fight to make. I understand we're going to be sacrificing Derek Lewis. This could be most likely Derek Lewis just getting absolutely destroyed, or he KOs Hockett and ruins another heavyweight prospect like he did with Taliesin Teixeira, another undefeated one. But I think we take the risk because Derek Lewis is still pretty highly ranked in heavyweight, and it's not like he's ranked number 5 or anything. It's giving Hockey like beginning of the top 10. And if the UFC takes the risk and Josh Hockett dominantly destroys Derek Lewis in just a round, and, like, dominant fashion, like did it to Denzel Freeman, and gets in the top 10, we could have a big star in the process, like, for heavyweight. Especially this fight right here, just because Derek Lewis is in the fight and he's highly ranked, they're going to put this on a main card, if not a fight night main event. And Hockett being at a press conference would, I think, be a very good thing. Honestly, great. It would be incredible promotion. I think he'd be incredible promoter for the fight. Like, just look at him in his Octagon interview. And yeah, I think even though this could be a horrible idea because what Derek Lewis did to Taliesin Teixeira, but I'd say we take the risk and put Hockett in there with Derek Lewis and give him that chance. Because after the Sergey Spivak fight that happened, I know, a couple years ago, Hockett looks like he has that style where he can just throw around Derek Lewis and dominate him in round 1 and get in those rankings and become a big star in heavyweight. I say the UFC takes the risk and gets this fight done. But yeah, anyways, Josh Hockett versus Derek Lewis. Let's make it happen. Okay, so Sean O'Malley beat Song Yadong last night. He talked about getting a UFC title shot next against Peter Yan. I don't think so. I told you guys earlier in the video, I thought Song Yadong won that fight rounds 1 and 3. And it wasn't a brutal robbery in my opinion, but it was a very close fight. But hey, Sean winning though isn't the worst. I don't think a really brutal robbery. It's like, I don't know if I should call it a robbery, but, like, I thought Song won though. That's the thing. But it was very close. It could have gone either way, but I had Song winning. But still, Sean O'Malley said he wanted that bantamweight title shot. I do not think he deserves it. Umar is the next one after Merab and Peter Yan. Sean O'Malley's already had his instant rematch after not even fighting a contender. He just had an instant rematch against Merab and got submitted in round 3. And he just had a little bit of a boring-ish performance against Song. It was not boring. It was a fun fight, but but still not a good enough win, not enough good enough statement where it's like, oh yeah, Sean O'Malley should be next in line for a bantamweight title. If he finished Song Yadong in really incredible fashion, I'd be like, okay, you know what? There could be talks for him fighting for a bantamweight title next against the winner of Merab or Yan, but that looks like that I don't think it should happen. And honestly, I think he should be fighting Corey Sandhagen next. I'm sorry, you guys have been seeing on the screen, Corey Sandhagen's the guy he should be fighting next. And because this fight's been talked about for a while, a lot of people have been wanting to see Corey Sandhagen versus Sean O'Malley for years. This is like I almost can't even believe it hasn't even happened yet. It's a perfect fight to make. It'd be such a fun fight, and it's crazy that they've been in the top of the bantamweight division for quite a while, and they've never crossed paths. And we need to see this happen. Sean O'Malley needs at least another contender like Corey Sandhagen on his resume before he gets another bantamweight title shot, and it'd be a very fun fight. Very fun. And I think it's time we stop saying, oh yeah, what if Corey Sandhagen and Sean O'Malley happen? I want to see it happen. And Sean O'Malley probably wants to fight for the title in the White House, but it's not going to be the title in the White House. I think he should be fighting Corey Sandhagen at the White House, and it'd still be a very great fight while there's another while the bantamweight title could be possibly on the line in the White House as well. This would be a very great fight to have in that card. So yeah, Sean O'Malley, Corey Sandhagen. This has to be the next fight. We can't delay this fight any longer. This has to be the next one. O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen was such a big talked about fight for years now. We need to see it. And hopefully the UFC does the right choice and they make this fight happen. Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen. But if they give O'Malley the title shot, I will be disappointed. I actually will. Because that's just what the hell, man? And then Dana White will be like, there's no such thing as Dana White privilege. But yeah, hopefully this fight does happen and O'Malley does not get a title shot. Just went to the next one by accident. But yeah. All right. Paddy Pimblett just lost to Justin Gaethje last night, and I talked about the fight earlier on, but who's he going to fight? So, as you can see, Dan Hooker and Benoit Saint Denis are fighting next weekend. Paddy Pimblett should fight the winner of the winner of that fight. And I hopefully Dan Hooker wins this fight because, due to the beef they've been having after Paddy Pimblett said something about Dan Hooker's mom getting raped. And Dan Hooker did not take that lightly. And, he said something about Paddy's dead friend. But yeah, they have beef now. And I'd love to see that fight, Paddy Pimblett versus Dan Hooker. But Paddy Pimblett's going to need some time to heal. He just had an absolute war with Justin Gaethje. He's going to take a few months off, I assume. I think Paddy Pimblett will be back by hopefully June, around White House time. Hopefully he's available around then. And yeah, Dan Hooker and Benoit Saint Denis. Honestly, I think Benoit Saint Denis is going to beat Dan Hooker, but Paddy Pimblett should fight one of the winner of these two. It'd be a great fight. And no matter what it is, Benoit Saint Denis versus Paddy Pimblett, that's a sick matchup to make. And also Dan Hooker versus Paddy Pimblett, maybe not as a sick of a matchup as Benoit Saint Denis and Paddy Pimblett would be, but due to them having that beef that just started recently, I'd love to see that fight, a grudge fight. It would be amazing. The winner, whoever wins this fight, would have a good fight, an incredible fight with Paddy Pimblett, no matter what. And yeah, Paddy should fight one of these guys because Paddy's still a big star, and I don't think he's going to lose much stock after that Justin Gaethje loss. Because if he got KO'd, he probably would have lost a lot of stock in that fight. But still, a lot of people I see are respecting him much more due to surviving 5 rounds with him. And yeah, let's do the winner of Paddy Pimblett versus let's do the winner of Benoit Saint Denis and Dan Hooker versus Paddy Pimblett. Great fight either way. Now, yeah, this is not even question. It's Justin Gaethje versus Ilia Topuria next for the UFC lightweight title. And yeah, Justin Gaethje, incredible performance against Paddy Pimblett is the interim champ once again. He's going to be fighting Ilia Topuria, most likely at the White House. Thing is, though, Justin had an incredible performance against Paddy, but I feel bad for Arman here. I feel bad for him. Arman has beaten Charles Oliveira, who Justin Gaethje failed to beat. He knocked out Beneil Dariush. He just beat Dan Hooker in incredible fashion. And Gaethje fought Fiziev on short notice and just beat Paddy Pimblett. Still very great wins. I'm not taking those wins away from him. Those are great wins by Gaethje at 37, still showing that he has the skill to beat those guys who are very great opponents. But still, rankings-wise, they're not deserving wins for a UFC title. And I didn't like this. I didn't like Paddy and Gaethje being made for an interim title in the first place. And yeah, because Paddy Pimblett basically got pushed up to number 5 in the most lucky way possible. It is true. He did get put in number 5 in the most bullshit way possible. And Rafael Fiziev took the fight on short notice against Justin Gaethje. Still, I'm not taking those wins away from him. Those were incredible wins by Justin Gaethje. And he got but still, he was in very good in that fight. And Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett, Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje is going to be a banger of a fight as well. I do have Ilia Topuria KOing Justin Gaethje, though. I honestly think he's going to KO Justin Gaethje because Paddy Pimblett's a very good striker, but you can just see in that fight both those guys. Ilia smokes them both. I think Justin does put up a good fight against Ilia. It's going to be like the same thing. Ilia is going to get tagged a bit in the first couple rounds, or the first round, and then he's going to get his groove going and then KO Justin. I think that's what's going to happen. Justin could KO Ilia. Definitely, I think he could. I definitely think he could KO Ilia. But most likely, I think Ilia smokes him. And still, very disappointing, though. We can't see Ilia versus Arman. That is the fight I really wanted to see. But because that's the one where I feel like Topuria gets the biggest challenge of his lightweight career right now, is his lightweight era, not Gaethje, because I could see Topuria I don't really there's not much of a chance I really see Gaethje winning besides him getting a good shot on Topuria and winning. I don't really see how else he beats him. I see Topuria just absolutely annihilating him. But who knows? Maybe if Ilia Topuria, this is the next fight, but if Ilia Topuria, the divorce stuff is not it's still a problem and it's going on and it's still going on late, more than expected, we're probably gonna see Arman Tsarukyan versus Justin Gaethje for the interim belt instead of Arman versus the winner of Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway. But yeah, this will be the next fight: Justin Gaethje and Ilia Topuria at the White House for the UFC lightweight title. And it will still be a very good fight. It will still be a scrap until it ends by KO by Topuria. And yeah, but still, going to be a great fight, and I'm very excited for it. But yeah, that is the end of my video, guys, today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and peace out.